Okay, welcome to my first CEDH video on the channel here. If you're new here, for the most part, this is a vintage channel with a little bit of legacy and now a little bit of CEDH too, as I'm getting back into it. So I had a paper tournament for CEDH yesterday. I'm going to go over my deck tech for that. A bit of a short tournament report, just kind of very briefly covering, my matches and how they went. And then a bit of history here for me for CEDH. So this was only my second paper CEDH tournament I ever played. Where I played a lot of Magic in CEDH is on Magic Online. The beginning of 2024, Wizards put Magic Online, just competitive leagues with buy-in and prizes like, other formats, Vintage, Modern, etc. on Magic Online. I played quite a few of those, had a little bit of success on there. But the paper CEDH is extremely different to Magic Online, which I've learned over the two events over the last year that I've played for CEDH. So I'm going to kind of cover some of those differences too. But let's start with a little bit about the deck. Let's just get a high level here. So we're playing Daryl, and Daryl is obviously not a very standard CEDH commander. You don't have a super powerful, turn 1 to win con usually. You don't have Mystic Remora and Rhystic Study. So right off the bat, you are playing something a bit off meta and probably a little less powerful than some of the tier 1 stuff. But I quite like this card. So we're going to kind of explain it. So what Daryl does is, overall, it is a card draw engine, a removal tool, and it's an outlet for a lot of cards in the deck like Natural Order and Savage Order, which we can use to get cards like our the Big Itali, this one here. So it does a lot of things for the deck. It synergizes very well. The main thing being, of course, that's a draw engine. So why is Daryl a draw engine? It's also a political tool. We'll talk about that as well. So at the beginning of your upkeep, it's 2 red-green, 4/4. Beginning of your upkeep, target opponent creates 3 walker tokens. This happens every turn. Every upkeep, somebody gets 3 walker tokens. And so you can keep giving it to one person. You can divide them around. A lot of times what I like to do is if there's one player who's clearly behind, I'll give them a lot of tokens to help me kind of take out the other 2. Because that's a lot of damage. Obviously in CEDH you're not winning a lot of matches with damage, but the walker tokens can for sure add up. And then if it can deal 2 damage to target creature, and whenever a zombie opponent dies, draw a card. The 2 damage is relevant just in general. That kills Kinnin, that kills Timna, which is pretty cool. And it can also just blow up the zombies. So when Daryl uses his bow and arrow to 2 damage a zombie, you draw a card. So whenever say your opponent attacks with their 3 zombies against an opponent, the opponent blocks one of them and it dies, then you draw a card. That's all pretty good for you. So your opponent's just naturally attacking and blocking with their zombies will let you draw cards. The other way to draw cards with Daryl, make it into a pretty good engine, is cards like Pyroclasm, Whip Flare, Brotherhood's End, these sweepers. That kills all the zombies. There's a couple other in the deck, and then you draw this card. So let's say you've given out 2 turns of zombies. There's 6 zombies on the field. And you haven't used Daryl to kill them for whatever reason. Let's say you had a scarier creature like a Kinnin on board. Then you can use these cards to destroy all the zombies, and you would draw like 6 cards in that instance if there were 6 zombies on the field. It's important to note that this is not just the walkers, so if your opponent has a zombie like, what is it, Crom I think is a zombie, and Crom dies, then you draw a card. There's a couple other CEDH zombies that get played. And that's the core of the deck there. So what you're trying to do is, since we're a little bit slow, we're going to try and play some lock pieces, like Void Mirror, Vexing Bauble, Blood Moon, Magus of the Moon, to slow the game down a bit at the beginning. Use Daryl to control the board and draw a bunch of cards. And then we've got a couple of, compact win cons here. We've got Godo, which is a self-contained win con, obviously, with the, what's it called again, with the artifact here. Helm of the Host to give you infinite attacking Godos. We got a couple of combos as well, just 2-card ones. So we've got like Dual Caster Mage, Twin Flame for infinite attackers. We've got Combat Celebrant and Hyrax Tower Scout, which both combo make infinite creatures attacking with either Kiki Jiki here, Kiki Jiki, and then Splinter Twin. That will make infinite creatures. And we can also play a large creature like Rurik Thar. When you've got people attacking, you got zombies out, your opponents are playing combo, the Rurik Thar can actually be a win con. I have won games on Magic Online just having Rurik Thar in play. Opponents have taken a reasonable amount of damage during the game and then just can't get out under the Rurik Thar before it kills them. And to that extent, since we've got prison pieces and whatnot and can stall the game out, we've got cards like Bloodthirster here, which attacks a player and then attacks another player, attacks another player. It doesn't have Myriad, but it's got the same idea. You can just keep attacking people. I'll put this deck in the description there. That's kind of the gist of it. We're playing prison pieces. Then we are trying to get one of the combos online. And we have a lot of draw engines here with Daryl and some other value creatures. Invasion of Ikoria can help to assemble our combo. Same thing with like Eldritch Evolution, Finale of Devastation. These all can get 1/2 of a 2-card combo or just like Golos. We've got Bridgeric's Battle, which is a removal spell, and also land. Sweeper for artifacts, and Sweeper for zombies and other creatures we don't want. A lot of times this one you can use it like with Daryl to get Godo or something. Finale to get a creatures. Into the Fire as a sweeper usually, again. We can also swap your hand. Natural Order, which can get something like Rurik Thar, or potentially Hyrax Tower Scout. That's really what you need for half the combo. Pyroclasm is a sweeper, Twin Flame's a sweeper. We covered, Woodford is a sweeper. We covered Twin Flame. Savage Order can get one of the dinosaurs. The two ones here are the two Atalis. We've got Atali Primal Conqueror, which I'm sure everybody knows this comes into play. Each opponent exiles a card. Until they have a non-land card, you can play them for free. In my tournament, I got Atali into play, and I got Rhystic Study, Demonic Tutor, Paradise Mantle, and I think, Sylvan Library for me. So I had a pretty good natural order off of, a savage order, off of, can't do natural order. This is a savage order for the dinosaur, off Daryl to get an Atali, which was pretty fun. And the other Atali does the same thing, has to attack, not an ETB. We'll do the creatures last, there's a lot of them. Instants, Chaos Warp is removal, Force of Vigor, Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blast, Tidball's Trickery, and Volcanic Fallout. Sweepers and Protection, obviously. CEDH is very high power level format. We need some protection here. Same thing with some of the enchantments. We'll to lock people out. We got Ramp, the Carpet of Flowers to make mana. Draw Engine. There's a damage sub-theme here, because this deck can, subtly win with damage if it gets long enough. And it's also kind of pretty good removal for things like Breach. Defense of the Heart to get 2 creatures like our Kiki combos here. Or just 2 dinosaurs potentially. Pattern to get things, the more big creatures. Or a Godo. This one can get any creature. We put it on a creature, when it dies you get that. So you can put it on like one of your own creatures potentially, then shoot it with Daryl. Shadow in the Warp's a fun one to make all of your big expensive creatures in here cost less. It's sort of like a mana rock, because our first creature you cast turn costs 2 less, and does ping your opponents for a lot. Splinter Twin obviously is half the combo, Sylvan Library to stick stuff together. Flux is a fun one, so this is another card advantage engine in the deck. We got quite a few of these, trying to keep up. We don't have Rhystic Remora, Rhystic Study kind of things. We don't have Talion, So we need, to get a bit more creative here to find cards that can keep up here. This one enters the battlefield, hits something for 4, then each other turn you exile the top card of your library, you can play it, and you get a bunch of mana at the end, which can help you combo out if you get that far. Artifacts. A lot of the standard ones here, either trying to assemble a combo with Birthing Pod or just playing a bunch of mana. Helmet with Godo. Thorn, Trinisphere, Vexing Bauble, Void Mirror, though, are lock pieces. Try and stall into the mid game. Lands are basically just the red-green ones. If you see on the link below, if you click it, you see ways of improving this mana base, let me know. I'd appreciate that. But this is kind of what I came up with so far. And we'll go on to the creatures. Adel and Jackal to keep getting mana. Biofag is a Manadoric, combo win, lock piece, combo win, Manadoric, combo win, Manadoric, mana, engine and win con kind of things with the 2 Italis, obviously. No secret in EDH. Fauna Shaman to set up combo wins or to get a lock piece. This one's pretty flexible. Generous Ent can be pitched to Shaman, also a land, also can be played and get, this can turn on Natural Order or Savage Order to or those kind of cards too. Godo's a win con. Hanwar Garrison's an interesting one. This one's probably something I could cut. So Hanwar Garrison combos with Hanwar Battlements here to flip them, and you have this giant on the other side. If you do the meld, you get this 7/4 haster that makes 2 3/2s that are attacking. It can win the game pretty quickly, but it's underpowered in CEDH. It probably should cut to something else. Arc Tower gets a combo piece. Imperial Creator sets up a combo or grabs a lock piece if you need it. Combo piece. This is another one where I'm thinking some of the damage sub-theme in the deck might be a little too cute. This one does hit hard, but it's a little slow. I think this should probably be replaced for more other stuff. Llanowar Elves, mana, lock piece, Manglehorn, lock piece. Again, mana, Savage Order. Engine. Polygonasari is a good engine card. Ragavan, mana, and kind of an engine. Yalgor one I actually think is pretty good. So this one, if you're not familiar with it, reach, trample, 3 green and an X. When it enters the battlefield, cut counter on, that's flavor text. Here's the important part. When it enters, destroy any number of target artifacts and or enchantments that have mana value X or less. So that means all of your opponents' 0-cost artifacts and enchantments you can blow up. So that's Urza Saga, all their 0-cost Moxen, all their treasures. This hits all of that. And if you pay a little bit more mana, you can blow up a few select things that actually cost mana too. So I quite like this one. Rurik Thar, which we talked about, is just, I think, a pretty good lock piece in this deck that can win games. And then this one's a fun engine. You might not be familiar with this one. So at the end of combat on your turn, if you attack this turn, create a junk token for each opponent you attack. So that's up to 3 junk tokens. And they have sack, exile top card of your library, and play it. Whenever you sacrifice a junk, add red. So it can add mana, it can add card advantage. This does a little bit secretly, actually, like a lot of stuff. I quite like this card. It is a little slow, but we're playing a lot of ramp and stuff, so I think it's okay. But definitely on the edge here. So I'm going to go through some of the tournament stuff now, a little bit of history. But if you got ideas for how to try and change and fix this deck, and try and make it even better for the next time I play it, let me know. Those are all kind of the justifications for the cards in the deck. If you got other combos, think I should be playing, other lock pieces I should be playing, other mana, etc. Let me know down in the comments. I'd appreciate hearing from people who play more CEDH than I do, how I could be improving Daryl here. And again, obviously I know this is off meta, but I'll talk about it in a second. It can win games. Maybe not in paper, so I've been struggling there, but we'll start with the history here in Magic Online. So Magic Online started competitive EDH leagues beginning of 2024, and these are, you pay either 50 play points or 50 ticks. So you don't play Magic Online, that's about $5. And the prize structure is, I'll just show it here. So competitive multiplayer, commanded multiplayer leagues, you can pay 5 ticks or 50 play points to enter. And if you win one match, you get 50 play points, 290 in a treasure chest, 130 is 2 treasure chests and a competitive trophy. Now, these don't fire anymore. I'm not even sure. For many months now, I think, all of 2025, the end of 2024, nobody actually plays in these. If you want to play this event, you have to go and find people to sign up with you basically at the same time, or else just going to be sitting in the queue forever, unfortunately. But when they first came out, the beginning of 2024, and for a good few months, I played a lot of these online. This was how I got into CEDH, these Magic Online events. I did fairly well in quite a few of them. I got a trophy with Daryl. So if you don't know, a trophy is when you win all your matches. So in CEDH, you have 3 matches. Win all of those, you get a trophy. In 1v1 formats, it's usually 5. But a CEDH, obviously a bit longer game and harder to win, so they're doing 3. Look at some pictures here. So I got my 3 match wins here. Show you the deck first. This is what I was actually playing at the time. It's a little different than what I have now. I've made some changes since this. Because after this, I played 2 tournaments in paper. One was 10 months ago. I didn't realize that it was 10 months ago until I came back from my tournament yesterday and looked. But I played yesterday, Daryl, CEDH, and then 10 months ago I played Daryl. And those are the only 2 times I've played paper CEDH. So I want to play some more. It is a really fun format. As you can see, some wins. So this was a Kiki Jiki making infinite copies of the Hyrax Tower Scout here. It's a cool one. And then the other win was a Rorik Thar win. So we had Rorik Thar here, and then just attacking, we were able to -1 here, get our opponent down. So that was a fun one too. Just showcased like an aggro kind of win. Pretty cool. So that's where I started with this. I had a lot of fun there. Now I've seen there's some big differences between paper and Magic Online. So when I played this last time, 10 months ago, we didn't actually have enough people to fire a tournament. I think we had like 10 people. Just kind of played like a casual round robin thing. I did not win any matches then. And yesterday, we had 4 rounds. I got to buy 1 round. The other 3 matches, I almost won 1. I played a little dumb to lose. I'll explain that in a second. But I didn't win any matches yesterday either, actually, except for my buy. So I'm 0-3 or what is it? Across 2 tournaments, 0-7 or something. Everyone's 6 or 7 with Daryl, which is obviously not great. And I think a lot of the reason is that, well, one, obviously the deck's not super strong. I might just have like a little bit of a rough patch here. But the other thing is, I think, in my experience here, that with Magic Online for the CEDH and in paper, how you win is very different. And the main thing is there's a lot more politics in paper. So in Magic Online, you only have you can't talk to your opponents. You have a little text box so you can type to them. That's kind of annoying. It's very easy for people to just ignore it. So there was very little politics in the Magic Online EDH. Most people were just playing their deck. And a lot of times I would win on Magic Online because if you're playing something that's kind of slower, worse, and off meta, people aren't super concerned about you, and they're going to just their threat assessment is just going to be normal based on your opponents are playing stronger, powerful stuff faster, are going to have to deal with that, etc. And it enabled me to be able to win kind of in the mid game with a sneaky combo or just accruing enough damage and advantage to win throughout the game by playing some lock pieces and dragging it out with some incremental damage. The thing is that in paper, that's not how things play out. There's so much talking and politics that a lot of times people are able to convince somebody else at the table that Daryl's a threat. Like I had that in my 4th round yesterday. In response, there were 3 walker tokens. There were 4 walker tokens on the board, and I played. What is it? I played the fancy sweeper here. Which one is it? It's a sorcery. Twin. This one. I played Into the Fire, and my one opponent convinced somebody else that this was a scary thing, and they used the removal spell, actually a bounce spell on Daryl, so I wouldn't get the draw 3 or draw 4, I forget what it was, off of Daryl. Even though, my one opponent was playing a pair commander Seedborn Muse Cradled combo deck, which much scarier creatures and stuff than I had here. So it was a little surprising. I think I don't think I was the scariest thing at the table, but it doesn't really matter if you can convince somebody else that you are, and that's just a very different thing in paper. And I guess I haven't really got the. It's just a much bigger element of the game that I'm not amazing at, or probably pretty bad at right now, to be honest. So a lot of the games I think in paper for CEDH come down to your politics and how you're talking to people and what you can get people to let you do and not do. Like we also had a time where I think that contrasts pretty heavily with Magic Online CEDH, where it was mostly about your deck and technical play and assessment and that. So like Magic Online CEDH felt much closer to like normal vintage and legacy kind of things, whereas in paper I feel like the politics are really what win you the games, and Magic is kind of just like the medium with which you're playing at. Like obviously you can win a game just through the raw power of your deck. Potentially you can get a really fast win or something like that. But I think for the most part, the people, from what I could tell, that were winning the matches were winning it because of how their discussions went and what they were able to get people to do. There was interesting stuff where one person just agreed. So that I had an tally on the table. Somebody copied my tally. It was this tally, same game, round 3 here, and they were able to convince somebody else at the table that if they killed my tally and not theirs, that they just wouldn't attack, and that's what happened. Even though their board was scarier also at the time, with other creatures and stuff. So it was very interesting to me. And you could, just with these deals, keep your stuff around. So it's definitely an interesting concept here. Something I need to get better at. I don't hate it. I know a lot of people have pretty strong opinions on the politics thing. Like I'm aware that's a major thing in CEDH, and it's not just about the cards and your deck selection and how you play and whatnot. And the politics are a major factor, probably the most important factor in how you win games. In my admittedly only 2 events that I've played now, but it does seem like the major factor in how you play and win games. So it is something I think I want to continue playing and get better at. So that's my little speech there of how I see the difference between paper and Magic Online. If you play paper CEDH and you've got like podcasts or something to listen to or something to read about the politics and how to get better at that, let me know. Be interested in checking out other resources about that. Just let me know down in the comments. I guess the other thing would be I think you have to kind of know people in your local scene. Maybe this is different in a bigger tournament, but some people there knew each other. I think it was easier for them to kind of work together, during the game, which was as somebody that's kind of new to the scene, doesn't know people. It's a little tough because you don't really have any easy allies at the table. I think that does make it pretty harder at a kind of a local scene for CEDH, because you're kind of fighting 2-on-1s, 2-on-1 kind of things sometimes. I did notice that as well. But yeah. So I think I went over I'll go over my tournament quickly here to end it out. So the first round we played against an Oops All Spells deck. It was Najeela as the commander, but they were first turn, and then on their turn 3 with Force of Will backup, they just used Talisman to get Balustrade Spy, mill their deck. They put in Narcomoeba, and then they used Cabal Therapy to get Poxwalkers back, and they've got the card in the graveyard that makes zombies. So they end up with 3 creatures in play afterwards, and they use that to dread return back the Thassa's Oracle to win. Just kind of like oops in Legacy. I didn't realize that was a deck. So then the Jilla was just like a kind of a command to throw people off to think you're playing Warriors, but no, really, it was just oops all spells. So it was pretty interesting, but that one was over very quick. Round 2, I punted. So I did, in the mid game, assemble the combo of Splinter Twin plus Hyrax Tower Scout to make infinite Hyrax Tower Scouts and attack. But I forgot because my one opponent had, first opponent to my left, it was a long turn, had a 1 ring out. They had protection. So I ended up killing the 2 blue opponents, and my one opponent to the left playing a black, white, red kind of mid-range combo deck then just was able to win on their turn. I completely forgot about the ring protection. And on their turn, they won like 3 turns later, but they were able to outmuscle me after killing my Tower Scout. Because I completely forgot about the ring protection. I really should have just waited 1 turn to combo off, just would have played a Prison Piece on that turn and then passed. I think I could have, almost certainly won that match. But I just went off it too early with that dumb mistake and lost it. So that was a bit frustrating. And then round 3 I got a bye. So that was really annoying with Paper CEDH having a bye. I just walked around the shop for 80 minutes and walked outside. Forgot about that. I don't play a ton of Paper Magic anymore, so forgot about the buys. That was something. And then round 4. Round 4 was a bit of a mess. I think I definitely lost it on the politics and the table there for sure. That was the one where I most felt that, because I got a lot of my stuff blown up and removed and stopped. And I was playing by far the most off-meta deck here, and, definitely had some of the weaker board positions, but was not able to convince people to fight each other. I ended up in a position where I had a win on the board if I got to my turn, and my one opponent overloaded the spell that bounced all non-creature permanents on the turn before me, but at the beginning of their turn. And that removes one of my lock pieces and allowed them to win at 1 life. It was Rog side. They won at 1 life. I had this out. So I had Shadows of the Warp Outs, which is whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, so that does 2 damage to that player. And they were at 1 life, so they couldn't cast anything. Not really, no non-creatures, they just die. But at the beginning of their turn, the person before them wiped the board, and they just won. It was a bit silly. I didn't know these people, so it's a little hard to politic them. But I feel like if I was more seasoned and better, that I probably could have tried to negotiate something better or played differently in the beginning of the game to have more resources. Because at one point this is the game where I did Savage Order, which is this one, for an Atali. This one, this is the ETB Atali, and I was able to get a lot of stuff like Ristic Study, Demonic Tutor, and 2 other things. It put me in a good position, but I didn't have enough. Still at that point, I didn't have enough resources to actually assemble a win. So regardless of what I do, it's going to have to be a pass the turn sort of type of win, or just get a lock piece. And I knew that the one opponent was holding a removal spell. They were holding a removal spell because the person to my left was agreeing not to attack with their copy of the Tali. So I definitely feel like I navigated that one, but it's kind of the situation that's never going to come up in a 1v1 style or Magic Online style EDH game where they've got all these agreements and stuff. So it's definitely interesting. Yeah, overall I had fun though. I'm glad I went to the event. It was a £10 entry event here in England, so not too pricey. I'm very happy to play CEDH at those stakes. I'm not sure this is the game for me at higher stakes. I don't really play a lot of higher stakes Magic anyway. But I think the networking, with the community kind of thing and the politics, does being like the main drive for how you win games does, I think, turn me off a bit to playing this at higher stakes. I think my skill set is more in magics and the cards and stuff, and not in convincing other people to do stuff. But I mean, that's a valuable skill set in general, so I don't think it would hurt to try and get better at that. Yeah. Any thoughts on what I've said? Put it down below. Like and subscribe. That's appreciated to grow my channel. I'm sure I'll have some more CEDH kind of little deck texture stuff. I'll play something else in my next tournament. If you've got ideas how to fix Daryl, let me know. The other deck I played online a lot was Siding Triplets. Trying to turbo out the Oracle combo. That one was pretty good. We might just proxy up that deck, what I need to for the next tournament. And thanks for taking a look, and I'll see you next time.